Hi guys, it's Tara here with Create Life Paper Words, and I have day 2 for you in my 2017 travel album. My husband and I went to France for about 9 days in October, at the end of October, and as soon as I was able to, I quickly started working on this, and currently I'm about halfway done and just going through all my process videos for you guys and getting them ready. So what I'm doing right now is I ended up deciding to put in a little insert. I had kept this little bag, and I think it just had our utensils in it from at the airport, but I just really loved how long it was. So I'm doing a little bit of journaling that I'm going to stick right into that little bag right there. And so that's actually for day 1. And so as soon as I get this done, I will move on to day 2. So I learned something new I was watching the Ali Edwards December Daily Foundation pages for 2017, and I always find that whenever I use ribbon that it always gets really bunched, and that's because I sort of like loop it through and tie it. But I was realizing that when she uses ribbon, she loops it through and then uses her tiny attacher to punch it with a staple, and that makes it less bulky. So I'm trying it in this album, and so far I'm really liking it. I believe I use it one other time. So just a little hint, if you love to use ribbon but don't like the bulk that it sometimes adds, is just staple it. And now I am moving on to day 2. So day 1 and day 2, because they're travel days and we ended up losing 8 hours, they're sort of wonky for me. So technically this should be part of day 1, but because in France it was a brand new day, I'm counting it as day 2. So my day 2 consists of us landing in Paris and what we did that day. It ends at about 4 p.m. because we were so tired and exhausted that we just sort of gave in at that point in time. So I'm using this roller stamp, and I've had it for years. I got it from Stampin' Up. I don't know if they still make it or not, but as you can see by how black all the letters are, I use it quite a bit. It is the perfect size for Project Life pocket page style, and so like I said, I use it for so much stuff. Because I didn't have a ton of photos from our travel day, I am using the back side of day 1's pocket pages, and I'm really doing it more out of necessity because I have very few page protectors. Yeah, I really need to order more. So yeah, it's more out of necessity that I'm doing it like this. I keep everything. If you haven't seen my setup video that I did, I came home with a stack of stuff, and I had taken our Paris museum passes, and I just took out the insert and I just attached the back and front of that. I don't really need the insert. I kept a lot of the sheets and stuff that they gave us from the museums that we went to. I also kept a couple of our Metro passes, and I'm going to be using them throughout the album as well. For this one, I believe this was the actual one that we had taken from the Charles de Gaulle Airport down to Châtelet-les-Halles, where we got off and went to go find the Airbnb that we had booked. So this is more just like the beginning of that day 2, the travel stuff. And then I am so sorry, I ended up doing this 3x3 grid layout, and I don't know if I forgot to press record or if I pressed the wrong button to save it. I'm not really sure what happened. Turns out I don't show the setup of these, which is too bad because I did do a lot of moving around and a lot of thought placement on everything in here. So I'm really sorry. I did not mean to do that. I really thought I had pushed the right button, but I didn't. So I wanted to bring in some clear elements into this, And so I've got some transparencies that I stamped in StazOn on. The one of them is stamps from a Kelly Perky set that I'm gonna say I got like maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now. But it's a perfect travel one. I love it. It also has like a little Eiffel Tower on it. But yeah, it's definitely like a planner set, but it's perfect for traveling. So I use it quite a bit for my travel stuff. And it says explore in pursuit of good food, adventures, and cool photos, I believe is what it said. And it's got a little camera on that. So this page is documenting what we did in the afternoon. We went to the Louvre and we just walked around there and we had lunch and that kind of stuff. So I really wanted to find sort of an arty quote or something about the Louvre. So I was all over Pinterest and I really didn't find what I wanted on there. So I ended up just Googling it, good old Google, and I was able to get a quote. I believe that it says, I'm just gonna pull my book out. It says, "The Louvre is the book in which we learn to read," by Paul Cézanne. And I chose that because I felt it was the one that was maybe the most fitting for this project. I also used a Go See Do stamp, again on a transparency with StazOn, and then I added a couple little white sequins in there as well, just to give it a little bit more interest. Was the reason I did that. And now I am working on day 2, and day 2 is, I am working on the 6x12 photo for day 2. Originally I wanted to put maybe like where we were, but I wasn't really finding the correct placement for it with alphas. So I end up using a stamp also from that Kelly Perky travel set that I have. And I wrote, "We just stood and stared when we walked into the courtyard at the Louvre. Wow." And used a little tiny triangle, just because I wanted it to echo the triangle that you go into the entrance of it for. So that is day 2. If you have any questions on this, I would absolutely love to answer them. Or if you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. As always, you can find me on Instagram at Create Life Paper Words. You can also find me here on YouTube at Create Life Paper Words. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope that you will. Thanks for joining me in my 2017 Day 2 travel album, and there will be more post this video soon. Bye guys!